Welcome back everybody to the Retrograde right here on Dead Jester Cinema. What is the Retrograde? Well, I'm going to go through a movie and then I'm going to break that movie down into 4 categories: story, characters, direction, and music. And I will assign a letter grade to each of those categories, and then I will take all those grades and combine them to come up with one cumulative score and grade for the entire film. And on this edition of the Retrograde, we're going to look at the 2017 sequel to Curse of Chucky, Cult of Chucky. Nika from the previous film has been institutionalized after the events of Curse of Chucky, and her creepy-ass doctor decides to bring in a good guy to help her get past her trauma. Only this time it's revealed that there isn't just one Chucky, but a whole shit ton of them, as Charles Lee Ray has discovered a voodoo hack to possess multiple bodies at once, and he's going after Nika to finish off what he started in the previous film. Sort of. Yeah, it's a bit of an out there and convoluted plot, but let's just get into it and break this thing down.
I never felt so alive! Yeah, well, you've been alive for like 2 minutes.
You know, knowing what I knew going into it, I didn't think I would like this one as much as Curse, but I'm surprised. I actually really enjoyed it, and I think in certain areas, I actually enjoyed it a little bit more than Curse. I dig the setting of the mental asylum, even if it comes off a little too stagey and low-budget art house looking. But for me, it just looks way too over-the-top cliche, clinical asylum, however you want to describe it. But I've never been in an asylum, so who knows, maybe they do look that stark inside. I don't know. I like the concept of Nika being treated as if she's schizophrenic and that Chucky was just all in her head from the last film and she was the one doing all the killing. I mean, we know it's not, and we know it's an avenue that's not going to be deeply explored here because it's film 7 in the Chucky series, but still. Okay, so the big thing in this movie is that there are multiple good guy dolls possessed by the spirit of Charles Lee Ray, which hence Cult of Chucky. And you know, I was ready and willing and prepared to shit all over this aspect of this movie, but I actually kind of enjoyed it. In a way, it's kind of like the Chucky version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Like, that's the kind of vibe I get. You don't know who is possessed at any given moment, and believe it or not, the mood does get pretty creepy, especially for a Chucky movie. And I do have to say that I was impressed with the level of gore that was in this movie. It is just ultra violent, and the kills are just really gory and awesome. But if I did have one little nitpicky complaint about this movie, it is that voodoo spell that this movie does use as a crutch to lean on.
A few years ago, I came across this groovy new spell on voodoofordummies.com that changed everything. Now, I can be me, and me, and me.
You know, it's not too dissimilar from the rest of the movies that came before it that inserted this little plot device in order to try to make sense. But it is really stretching the rules and the believability of this franchise just a little bit. And it's not even the fact that it's a voodoo spell, like that I can live with. I think it's just the fact that it's thrown in so flippantly without any proper setup or explanation. It just shows up and is like, oh, okay, well, this is why this is happening. Now, in terms of the plot itself, there isn't much going on beyond that. Once again, Charles Lee Ray trying to get back into a human body, which you've heard my disdain for when I reviewed the previous films, and the fact that it just keeps going back to the same well. I don't know, I mean, I guess the difference here is that he does get into a human body finally, so I suppose that's something. You know, speaking of which, I don't think it's ever clearly stated as to why Chucky needs to be in Nika's body. Because in the last movie, he was out to just simply kill her. He just wanted revenge over being set up by her mother. But in this movie, some way, somehow, he now needs her? Now, I did only watch this movie once before doing this, so maybe I missed something, and if I did miss anything, please let me know in the comments below. But yeah, I just think it's weird that he wants to kill her in the previous movie, but now all of a sudden needs her. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Plus the idea of the cult, as it were, you know, these multiple Chuckies, it isn't executed in a satisfying way. It's there simply just to get Charles back into a body, which I think is kind of a waste, as I would like to have seen more done with this multiple Chucky concept, because it's almost not necessary as it is. All of this probably could have been accomplished with just one doll, and there's never really a moment where the multiple doll concept is used effectively, in my opinion. Plus, it's never really explained where all these dolls are coming from and how Tiffany got her hands on so many good guy dolls.
Where'd you get it?
Hot Topic.
Oh, well, I guess that answers that. Kind of, sort of. But once again, Fiona Dourif is fantastic as Nika. I mean, I can't sing her praises enough. She was terrific in Curse, and she's equally as terrific here in Cult, especially after she becomes possessed by the soul of Chucky, as she is brilliantly able to capture her dad's mannerisms and voice inflections, body language. I mean, she just does a terrific job, and she even nails his laugh. And speaking of Brad, I mean, what is there to say? He never turns in a bad performance as Chucky, just ones that are slightly better than others. And to me, he stepped it back up in this one, coming off of Curse, where I thought he was a little bit more subdued. Here, the comedy is back, his smartassery is back, and who would have thought he would have had brilliant comedic timing with himself? I mean, just look at the scenes at the end when all the dolls are interacting with each other. The dolls themselves look okay, nothing really bad or great about them. I think they're decent, but why change the voice?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Hi, I'm Chucky.
Hi, I'm Chucky.
Hi, I'm Tommy.
Hi, I'm Chucky.
I mean, we are 7 films in now. Was this little change necessary? I know that's a nitpicky complaint, but it's just so noticeable and it's annoying. Absolutely love Alex Vincent returning as Andy. He's become kind of like the de facto Tommy Jarvis of this franchise. I mean, he's so f***ed up from what happened to him as a child and so traumatized by it that now as an adult, he's out to simply put away Chucky once and for all. And he does a terrific job in the few scenes that he is in, namely the opening of the movie, which I thought was cool as fuck. Like, if Tarantino did a Chucky movie, this is how I would envision it going down. But that's enough of that. Let's now jump over to the report card and let's see how all this shakes out. The story gets a C+, because much like the last movie, the plot and story are pretty straightforward and simple, nothing crazy. But I do feel like it's a little convoluted with the multiple dolls and the fact that the writing doesn't properly execute this concept in a satisfying way. The characters get a B- because they're all pretty good. The standouts are definitely Fiona, Brad, and Alex. They are all just terrific, and they really carry this movie. The rest of the ensemble is pretty decent, nothing really negative or positive to say either way. The direction gets a C+, because again, much like Curse, I think Don Mancini does a pretty good job, and you can tell he definitely has an artistic eye when it comes to direction. Although I do think sometimes he tries a little too hard to be artsy with some of his shots, and it comes off just like that, like somebody trying too hard. But there are also other shots in this that I really like that I think are excellent just for their simplicity. The music gets a B, and now I could be wrong, but I feel like it's the same kind of music used again from the last movie. I mean, I recognized the Suspiria sounding theme music in one scene or two, but I'm not going to knock this for using the same music if it did, because the music from the last movie was pretty good. With those 4 grades combined, that brings the overall score to an 80.25%, which means that Cult of Chucky from 2017 has an overall grade of a B-. But yeah, that's it for Cult of Chucky, and that sort of wraps up the whole franchise up to this point before the reboot, which I'm not going to get into because I already did a review of that before, so maybe I'll come back and do a retrograde of that later, but whatever. But yeah, I really liked this movie. I thought going into it that I would kind of walk away disappointed or hating it, but no, I thought it was terrific. And I would have liked to have seen Don and the rest of them continue this out further. So, you know, I haven't watched the TV show yet, so I don't know if the TV show is an extension of this. If it is, great, and I'll be looking forward to finally jumping into that. But if not, man, it's kind of depressing in a way because I wanted to see where all this was going to go. But anyways, what are your guys' thoughts on Cult of Chucky? Please leave your comments and your grades below. Would you have graded it higher? Would you have graded it lower? Did I grade it fairly in your eyes? And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. Adios. Now GTFO!